Good morning, good afternoon, good evening. You are now listening to That Infernal Noise podcast, part of the Mental Health News Radio Network. Fuck yeah. Hello, and welcome to That Infernal Noise. Holidays are over, and I could not be happier. Just saying. I know that the holidays were rough. I know that like Christmas was the roughest of the holidays. New Year's kind of packed a punch for me. Everybody else was in a good mood, and I was for a while. But it is what it is, I guess. So, how are you feeling?
Not good today. For obvious reasons.
Well, it's not obvious to anyone else but me.
Well, that's what I meant. I'm talking to you.
Yes. So, see, what had happened was we recorded yesterday. It was a really good episode. And some, technical difficulties. And the episode was lost. And
No, just my half. Yours is still there.
Oh, it's just your half?
Yeah, because the fucking computer I was recording to is the one that crapped out, and it was saved locally instead of me putting it on the external.
I thought both of ours were lost. But still, regardless, the episode didn't make it. Did not make it. It was we had a really good conversation about the holidays and kind of what we're talking about now. And yeah, so we have to not recreate the episode, obviously, because we can't do that. But kind of have our New Year's episode again. And so for us, it may feel like we're having the same conversation again. So to you, I'm sorry if I've repeated myself.
I mean, I guess we repeat ourselves all the time anyway, so it really doesn't matter.
This is fair. And my nail is doing something weird on this side. And I'm trying to I don't know. Trying to fix it, but it's not. I can't fix it with my fingers, obviously. Because I'm going to have to cut and clip. Anyway, so I know we kind of went over why New Year's was hard for me, and now that I am kind of happy that we can't use the episode, because now I can just summarize and be more concise, because apparently that is something that I need to do. So New Year's kind of...
Well, start from the beginning with the holidays.
Well, the holidays are rough for us. They've always been kind of rough for me.
They've always been rough for me. I fucking hated the holidays before everybody started dying around them.
That's fair. And then we have back-to-back, almost literal back-to-back death anniversaries at the beginning of December.
And they're separated by
a day. So December 7th is the worst day of all. Period.
Yeah, it was.
Possible. Ever. It's the day after one and the day before another one. So it's just a shitty sit and wait kind of day. And obviously this is our second. Well, because she passed, both of them passed right before Christmas, so the first Christmas, or that Christmas, was the first Christmas without them. But this is after a year. It's just weird.
The year before that was too fresh for me to consider that the first year without them. It wasn't
the year they died
real, because they died on the 6th and the 8th. Christmas on the 25th. That shit, we barely put Mom to rest at that point.
Yep.
We barely buried Grandma before that point.
Right.
So it's just like, it wasn't real the first year for grandma or last year
For mom.
for mom. This past year, it really,
Because this really feels like the first Christmas without that. Or like this past Christmas seemed like the first Christmas without mom. So that and so many things have changed in our life over the past year that our holidays look even more different than before. Even before, I mean, outside of the deaths, like our holidays look very different this year. And that's okay. I'm completely fine with that part of it. It sucks. Because it's just more loss and more change and more bullshit to deal with. The death part of the holidays I don't want to deal with, but the other part of it I'm fine with. So it was just a hard time for Christmas. And once that passed, I know that you started feeling better, and because we didn't do anything. We don't usually do big things for New Year's. It is
we used to.
We used to when we...
That was kind of bittersweet looking back and thinking about all that, but not in the missing way. In
Right.
the, why the fuck did I surround myself with so many assholes?
Yeah. And I think that's...
And so much like stupidity and toxicity and like all this shit.
The shit we allowed.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I think that's... I think that is the biggest reason that New Year's Eve took me out. Because for our family, New Year's Eve, especially within the past few years, New Year's Eve is a time for reflection over the past year, a time for release of what no longer serves us, because we're supposed to always be changing and evolving and learning. We are human computers, and I made this reference earlier that, you know, it's like sometimes we have to go through software updates and we get new information. You had said that we get information. We should be able to take that information, change and process and change how we interact with the world once we receive new information. And that's what we try to do, even with our kids. They participate in what we do to an extent. They may not fully understand it on the level that we do and the amount of work we put into our New Year's rituals. But they still participate. They still understand that we have to look at ourselves. What can we change? What can we remove ourselves? You know, they know that there's things that we need to let go of, and there are things that we need to work on in the coming year. And we do a burning ritual. Well, it is burning, but I don't know if that's what it's called. But, you know, we do a ritual where we write things down on paper, we burn them.
Cleansing, whatever you want to call it.
And I think in reflection of everything that's happened this year and things that have happened outside of this year that I'm still dealing with. Personal things like familial things for me personally. And I don't mind sharing, you know, I don't speak to relatives. I have 0 relatives outside of the person I pushed out of my body. My child is the only blood relative I speak to. And again, that goes back to the holidays and why the holidays are so complicated and painful for me. Obviously, I have to kind of turn that mindset into what can I give? How can I transform what I will never get into what I can give to my kids and my husband and my friends and the people who care about me. And I really think that digging into everything that I have to grieve, I have to let go of, I have to do something with, I really think that just kind of hit me hard this year, because it's like, fuck, man. There's a shadow workbook that I got in 2021. I think that's when I started it, because they have you put the date in it. And I was just like, I put it away. It got lost in the shuffle of the amount of workbooks and notebooks and just regular books that we have. And I found it recently, and because New Year's Eve is also a day of cleaning for us. We clean our space, make space for new energy, clean out old energies, things like that. In reflection of everything, grieving is hard, because dealing with loss is hard in any capacity. And then it came back around. Sorry. The journal, shadow work journal. No one likes to live in the bad shit.
That's not true.
That's not true. Okay, I personally don't like to live in the bad shit. But sometimes it gets really hard when you look back and you realize that the vast majority of your life has been loss, and the vast majority of your life you have to start grieving. You have to grieve your life, and it's painful and it's sad.
That's why I don't want to do anything for the holidays. That's exactly why.
Yeah.
Because I knew, without getting too far into it and quote unquote talking shit, I knew what was going to happen whenever my grandmother and my mom passed. Well, I knew it was my grandmother.
You didn't realize it for mom.
I didn't realize it was going to be just as bad, if not worse, with mom.
Yeah.
Nothing's the same.
Nope.
And nobody cares. Nobody wants to talk about it. Nobody is addressing it. I like to have deep, meaningful conversations.
Yeah.
I try to do that with members of my family, and nothing.
It's surface level. Oh, I'm fine.
Yeah,
we're
and
good.
I fucking hate that. I hate it.
Instead of saying, I'm not doing well, I am struggling. No one.
And if it is a struggle, it's, it's not that bad. And it's shrugged off, just like it's been done my entire life.
Yeah.
And that's how I've been treated my entire life, where I've always had, well, not always. Whenever I was a kid, I had big emotions. I learned as a kid to shut them off because nobody gives a shit. Mm-hmm. And as I got older, that became perpetuated by the people I had surrounding me, even up until very recently.
Yep.
I'm too emotional. I'm too much of a bitch. I'm a faggot. Whatever. Because I'm in my fucking emotions and I wear my heart on my sleeve. Now I don't give a fuck.
Well, yeah, no, and you shouldn't have to.
I don't care about what anybody
has to say about it.
Of it, thinks of me, whatever. If you don't want me to talk shit about you, you should have done better. You should have done better, period. Because I have no problem anybody talking shit about me as long as it's valid.
Yeah, if it's factual.
I know my shit. I'm the first one to admit whenever I've fucked up.
Yeah.
You confront me with some shit, okay, cool, let's talk about it. And I saw something, I think it was yesterday. I can't remember exactly what it said, but it was essentially the people that you confront with shit and then they try to change things, they're really invested in the relationship. And the people that don't aren't. Oh. Whenever I'm confronted with shit, if I want you in my life, I put everything down and I try to fix it. Mm-hmm. That's period. I always have. And seeing things that I put out there, how I've put myself out there and said, this is a problem for me, yada, yada, yada. And then continue to watch nothing get done, nothing get rectified, and I'm the problem. I don't care for that.
Yeah.
I'm not mad about it. I'm not bitter about it.
But I'm not going to sit here and allow it. I'm not going to sit
here and act like everything's hunky-fucking-dory either. No. I'm just not.
No.
Because I'm past that point in my life. I've been trying to make everybody else as comfortable as possible for 40 fucking years. My family included. and I'm not doing it anymore. I'm not keeping up appearances. I'm not maintaining status quo bullshit. Like, fuck that. I built the bridge. Y'all aren't upkeeping it.
I'll burn this
I'll burn the
down
motherfucker down while I'm on it. I don't care. Because it doesn't mean anything to me anymore. It really doesn't. And I hate saying that. Well, let me rephrase that. It does mean something to me, but that's the problem. Because it only means something to me.
And you can't allow yourself to be the only one.
And I've been the only one invested in so many relationships in the course of my life
Same.
that I'm fucking over it. And after Mom died, I saw who actually checked on me. And that was very few people.
Yeah. I mean,
And
then,
I was crumbling.
Yeah.
Crumbling to a terrifying level.
Yeah. I
You were
vividly
there,
remember.
The kids were there for me. My sister was there. My brother-in-law, their kids, nieces, nephews, my cousins, like all of that shit.
Yeah.
They were the only ones to check on me that day.
Yeah.
And then after that is when Christmas comes around. And Christmas is completely fucking different. There's everybody's like snippy with each other and like all this weird fucking energy. And I'm just supposed to grin and bear it because that's what we do. No, I'm not doing that anymore.
I
If
was
this
there.
is the last of 2024 is the last year that all of that shit happens, I'm not going to lose sleep over it.
We can just do shit at the house.
I don't care. Like, I'll just stay by myself like I should have been this whole fucking time because I was by myself because nobody else gave a shit.
Yeah, and
So why the fuck am I putting the effort still? Why? 2025 is the year of me putting effort towards the people and things that put effort towards me.
Yep.
You put energy towards me, I'm going to put energy towards you. I am going to be a mirror, strictly a fucking mirror from now on. And I'm not giving you back that negative bullshit. I'm giving you nothing back. Because you giving me bullshit is nothing to me. You want to
'Cause
give
that
me
misses
positive
me.
shit, you want to try to add to my life, cool. If not, fuck off.
yeah.
I don't care. I don't care what it is.
No,
I've stayed at
I
jobs
agree.
too fucking long. I've stayed around people too long. I tolerated my family's bullshit for too long. And yes, I had it a lot fucking better than the majority of people we know. I understand that. Nobody
Trauma's trauma.
Nobody has loved me the way that I needed to be fucking loved, including myself, because of everybody else's bullshit. And I'm not dealing with it anymore. I'm not. If you want to be here for me the way that I need you to be here for me, you are more than welcome in my life. If you can't do it and it's too hard and I don't want to talk about it and that's fucked up and da-da-da, fuck off. Just go fuck yourself. I don't have time for it.
Yeah, because we don't even make our kids do shit that they don't
I
want to
wouldn't
do.
make my son deal with me. I don't make my son deal with me now because I know how much I've traumatized him. And I am here as long as he wants me here. If he decides tomorrow that he doesn't want me in his life anymore, I'm going to hug him, apologize to him, and move the fuck on.
Yeah.
Not because I want to, but because that's what he needs.
Yeah.
As much as that would hurt me, that's what I would do. Because my son means everything to me.
Because his experience, yes.
His experience is valid. He's right. I was a piece of shit.
But it has something to do with you, obviously. But his need has nothing to do with your needs.
No, it doesn't.
And if that's what he
his
needs, I know
needs
that as a dad.
outweigh what I want.
Yeah.
And I'm just using him as an example.
But that,
And the same thing goes for Kaylee or Noe or Logan.
Yeah.
Or you, even for that matter. If you decide tomorrow that you don't want to fucking be with me anymore, I get it. Cool. I'm not happy about it, but fine.
yeah. And
I'm tired of putting my happiness and worth on other fucking people.
yeah.
And I'm tired of me and what I want being the only thing that fucking matters. To whenever it comes to my interpersonal relationships. I give to fucking everybody.
Yeah.
And I'm going to continue to do that.
Yeah.
And if it's not being reciprocated, then I'm not here for it. Because I don't want to deal with dumb shit anymore. And there's no other way to describe it. It's dumb, childish, petty bullshit.
Yeah.
And I'm not entertaining it.
Well, and the thing is that the thing that's helped me the most in the past 6 months is realizing that everybody else is shit.
It's not my fucking problem.
It's not my problem, first and foremost. Second of all, it has nothing to do with me.
No.
Yes,
Because,
I understand.
Yeah, I might have caused some shit, but you're not addressing the shit.
Right.
You're choosing to live in this fucked up fantasy world that you created, and I don't have time for that. I'm busy in reality trying to do what I want to make me fucking happy.
Right.
And I thought I was doing that before, but all I was doing was enabling my vices. And now it's like I'm not doing that. I'm not doing that anymore because it made me fucking miserable, because I was looking for something else to make me feel better as opposed to making myself feel better.
Yeah, you making you feel better. And it's
and the fact that people don't understand that is goddamn ridiculous.
Yeah. I mean, yes, there are especially when you're dealing with interpersonal relationships, you have to, like, if you choose to be in a relationship or have any kind of relationship, friendship, whatever, with another person, you have to be able, yes, you need to be able to be there for other people and take what they need and what they want and take those things into consideration.
I agree with that. But the other person has to do the same fucking work.
Yes. But
that's the problem. Yeah. Whenever I feel like I give all of it, right, and get nothing in return, I'm not doing that anymore. And that's where you would not sit at a job if you were not getting fucking paid for it.
No.
And you need to know your worth.
Right.
And now I know my worth, and that's a problem for people.
Because they benefited from you not knowing your worth.
Yeah.
But that's where I was going with that, yeah, I am going to need validation from you. Hey, will you compliment me? Hey, will you tell me that you love me? Will you tell me I'm beautiful? Will you tell me I'm smart? All those things. Yes. As humans, we need validation, or it's nice to get validation from the people that you want in your life. That
should be the easiest fucking thing to do.
But at the same time, I also understand that I have to do work on myself so I feel good about me. I can't solely depend on someone else's stuff. So if I'm good, if I've made all the changes I need to make and I still, if I'm like, oh, okay, I'm good with me, but I would like some back and forth in my relation. Like I would like to feel wanted and you know, that's okay too, but it's just, we all need to understand ourselves better, I think. That's the underlying thing.
And I feel like we're the only ones that do that fucking work.
In the vast majority of the people we know, there's one other person that I can think of off top that does the work, goes to therapy.
And doesn't bitch about it. Knows it's fucking hard and is trying to advocate for themselves. Yeah. As hard as that may be.
One person.
Not just, oh, that's not the way it is. That's not what happened. You're full of shit, blah, 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 blah. Okay.
Or, you know, it is hard to start speaking up and saying the things that you need. And that takes fucking strength and bravery.
Yeah, but the shit that people are saying they need is more shit to enable the bullshit.
Outside of the one person we know?
Yes.
Yeah.
And you'd rather continue this perpetuation of idiocracy because that's where it's fucking going.
Yes.
And I have to feel like I'm an uppity asshole because I see through the bullshit.
Because you want to know yourself and you want to know why you function the way you do. And you want to...
And I stopped caring about why everybody else is functioning the way they do. Because nobody else gives a shit about it. So why am I going to give a shit about it?
And no one gives a shit. And of course, we're talking in general terms.
It's happened too many times in my fucking life.
There are certain individuals that do not fit this criteria, and we know that. So if you're listening to
there's also a hell of a lot of fucking individuals that do fit the goddamn criteria.
Lace those bitches up because the shoe fits.
But it is not just one fucking person.
No.
I have seen this cycle repeat for 40 fucking years with the people I've had around me. And guess what? I don't want people like that around me anymore.
And that's fair.
I'm tired of it. I am tired of people not wanting to progress, not wanting to change their circumstances, and then piss and moan about how bad they have it.
Right.
Fuck off.
Right.
Nut up or shut up.
Yeah.
And that's where I'm at right now. I'm shutting the fuck up because you know what? I'm going to nut up in my personal life, and I'm going to handle shit the way that I should have been handling it this whole fucking time instead of putting my energy towards you dumb motherfuckers.
And you and I have had several conversations where it's like, and you said it earlier, we're going to be mirrors, but we're going to put our energy, because you and I are both...
The mirror only reflects.
Yeah.
I'm not putting anything into it.
That's fair. But what I was going to say is that, I know that we have our life, whatever. But I know that I totally forgot where I was going with that. That train of thought derailed, and I have no idea. But anyway, this shit is not for everyone. Everyone has the ability to change, to figure out themselves.
I'm starting to think that some people don't.
I think...
because I want to be optimistic about all the shit, but I don't see it.
No, the thing is, everyone has the ability to do so. Everyone possesses the ability to look inwardly. And I'm going to circle back around to that fucking journal, because I just remembered I was talking about the journal earlier. The capacity to change, to look at, and to lead with curiosity, even within themselves. Fuck trying to figure out why everyone else is doing what they're doing. Focus inwardly. And part of that is, part of the reason people don't want to do that is, one, it's scary as fuck. It's hard. It's painful. It's sad. And people don't want to deal with the negative shit. Not only the negative shit that has happened to them.
People pretend that the negative shit doesn't fucking exist.
But they also don't want to acknowledge the negative shit that they have done. Because while I have not done a lot of things that are... On paper, I'm the nice one. But allowing the amount of shit that I have allowed is just as toxic as all the shit that has happened to me. Me not standing up for myself is just as bad as the person who told me that I make them feel like they want to blow their face off in front of me. Those things...
aren't any better.
They're not better. So, yes, bad things have happened to people, and yes, those people deserve closure and deserve apologies and recompense. People deserve that stuff, and people, and me, and that stuff is not always going to be the things that you get, and you have to let go of those things. And bringing it back to the journal, one of the questions that I looked at the other day, and one that I had to really stop, because the way the journal doesn't pack any fucking punches when it doesn't pull any punch. There we go. It packs a punch. It doesn't pull punches. There we go. Because the way it was questioned, it was a kind of a fill in the blank thing. Like, as a kid, I felt blank. You fill in, this thing was my escape. Blank was is how I escaped. I am currently, I don't look forward to blank and blank, but I am excited for blank and blank. So it was kind of like a Mad Libs kind of activity. And then afterwards, there were questions to reflect on what you just did. And one of the questions was, and it wasn't like, do you think you might fall into a victim mindset? It was, in what ways? Or it was very blunt, because everyone does fall into a victim mentality to some extent.
It's just whether or not you make it your identity or a temporary fucking
Yes,
roadblock.
because and the question was, why do you think you struggle with a victim mindset or victim mentality? And I try not to have a victim mentality. I have been very open about my trauma, but I'm not like, I could have ended up so much worse. I grew up around addicts. And not like alcoholic. Well, yeah, she was an alcoholic, but like like heavy drugs, things like that. And I could have done all of that. And I could have been like, well, my mom did, so I do. And I was raised like this. And there are people that do that. But the biggest thing is that, and I know it's hard, especially for people who have just endured a lot and just allowed a lot of stuff. Because my answer to that was, and my insides felt a little attacked. It's like, I'm not playing a victim, but it's like, you have to stop and be like, okay, why do I struggle? You have to take the victim word and restructure the way you look at that, because
we all have.
I don't want to do the work. Mm-hmm. Why don't I want to do the work? Because the why is the excuse I'm going to give as to why I'm not going to do the work. Because if you don't figure out yourself and why, then you're just going to say that why as the excuse. So my answer to that was, I struggle with this. I struggle with my own mental health because I didn't cause this shit. And I feel, because even as a child, it was my job and my role to clean up messes that were not mine. And I don't mean literal, like, oh, someone spilled something on the floor, I'm cleaning it. I mean life messes. My mother would have these horrible people in her life, and it would get to a point where I had to step in and be like, y'all need to pack your shit and get out. Y'all need to move around. So I'm having to clean up. And that's why I still struggle with this, is because I am still having to fix things that I did not break. I'm having to heal things that I did not wound. And if everyone could look at themselves and be like, why don't I want to change things that are maladaptive? Because that's what it is. It's dysfunctional. Why don't I want to change the dysfunctional things about me? Whether they seem nice or not.
But see, you're missing a key part of that. Some people don't see. They refuse to acknowledge the fact that there's anything negative about them.
That's fair.
That's the part that you're missing in that. I'm
still
see
expecting...
that there could be a problem, so you want to change things. I see and know that there has been a problem within me. I am actively trying to change it.
Yes, and that really...
Because we see the problem and we acknowledge it.
Yeah.
Other people are confronted with problems, and that's not the way it is. Okay. Some of us have only been saying shit like that for 20 fucking years, but, of course, that's me being incorrect.
Yes.
But
after confronting my mother with decades of trauma and pages that I wrote down,
I look at it the same way that Kaylee looks at shit because of me. She told me specifically, well, it's hard for me to think that people can't change because you did.
Yeah.
I look at it the same way.
Yeah.
Because of my mom.
Yeah.
Because she spent 30 some odd years ignoring the problem. That's not the way it happened. That's not the way I remember it. Yada, yada, yada. Until she didn't. Mm-hmm. Unfortunately, it was less than a year before she passed. Yeah. But she acknowledged it. She took ownership of it, and we had the longest, most productive conversation I have ever had with anybody in the course of my life.
That filled my heart with so much joy for you. So much. Because I know that there are so many people out there that are going to be in my boat.
That's unfortunate.
That when I was trying to tell her about my shit, about, hey, this stuff was not okay. This hurt me. I got met with, no, you're wrong.
That's not how it happened.
That's not how it happened.
I don't trust paternity tests.
Science isn't real. But then I got met with, well, maybe I just shouldn't have had kids.
No shit.
Thanks.
You can't unring the fucking bell, though.
I was 35 at the time. Bitch, you're a little late. And so when your mom did that,
then you saw a drastic change in her from that point. And I was still pensive, to say the least.
oh yeah, and I was too.
And I feel bad for being that, but I did try to also make an effort anytime she called. What's up? Okay, cool. And she was taking the steps to try to take care of herself. She was taking steps to keep me in the loop because sis lives so far out, so I'm the one that needs to know so I can help her with whatever the fuck I need to help her with.
Yeah, we were taking her to doctor's appointments to pick up her prescriptions.
Whenever she had to go to the hospital.
Yeah.
Like, whatever. I didn't give a fuck. It did not bother me.
Yeah.
Because that's what I have wanted from her my entire life. And she took the time and effort to do the things that I wanted her to do.
And if
she can fucking do it, as stubborn and hard-headed as our entire goddamn family is, myself included, if she can do it, everybody else can suck it the fuck up and do it too.
Yeah.
And outside of my family, I give a fuck about your excuses.
Yeah. I really think Mom was trying to figure out who she was.
She was, but we don't come from a place that encourages that.
Yeah.
We come from a place that tells us to fall in line and do A, B, and C because that's what you're supposed to do. Mm-hmm. And I've been over that since I was a kid.
You're like, fuck you. I'm not
Everybody
doing
that knows me knows that. If you told me I couldn't do something or I wasn't supposed to do something, I did it on purpose and did it fucking great because I can. Fuck you, suck my dick. You're not going to tell me that I have limitations on me. I put limitations on myself because of all the outside shit that I was told.
Yeah.
And once I took those fucking shackles off, I started accomplishing everything that I wanted to do easily.
Yeah.
Granted, my mindset was way more fucked up and didn't care who I stepped on or who I hurt in the process. But now I have that same mentality without the malice, without the vindictiveness. It's like, no, we can all eat, but you don't have to eat at my fucking table.
You build your own fucking table over there.
Because I've built my table for 40 fucking years.
Yeah.
It sat empty for a goddamn long time.
And it's empty now.
It's empty right now, and I have no problem still setting a full fucking table for that motherfucker.
Yeah.
Because I'm going to eat. Mm-hmm. I'm going to eat the way that I want to fucking eat. And if anybody has a fucking problem with it, don't be around me.
Yeah.
I don't have time for it. I don't have time for all this ignore bullshit. I'm the best person ever. Like, no, you're not. You're a piece of shit.
Yeah.
You know how I know that? Because I'm a piece of shit. I'm trying to fucking change it, though.
Yeah.
And if you want to be yourself, go be yourself by yourself.
Mm-hmm.
Because I'm doing me by myself now. And I don't care how that sounds anymore.
Yeah.
I don't care if people think I'm some fucking asshole or I'm only out for self. Yeah, because I spent 40 years not giving a shit about myself.
Yeah.
So now it's my fucking turn. And the next 40 years are going to be me doing the things that I want to do to make me happy. Not the shit that's going to make everybody else happy or make everybody else think I succeeded or whatever.
Yeah.
Because that's all I was concerned with. Because it means nothing. Zeros in a bank account don't equate to success to me.
No.
Happiness, peace associates success.
Yep.
In my mind now. And you can call me a bleeding heart fucking hippie, whatever the fuck you want. All you want. It means nothing to me.
Yeah.
Because I'm still more successful than those people that have those mentalities.
Yeah.
Professionally, personally, however you want to look at it. I know that.
Yeah.
And I downplayed all of that because it sounded egotistical. And I'm done not sounding egotistical. Because my egotist side is my confidence. And I have not been confident for a very long time because of all this other bullshit.
That's fair.
Because I let everybody else get in my head and tell me what I was supposed to do, how I was supposed to act, and all this fucking bullshit.
You still apologize for talking about shit that you love, and you've been with me.
To my wife.
You've been with me for 13
years. Do you know why I do that?
Years.
Because everybody else that I have been with in a relationship told me I was stupid for liking that shit.
I know, and I never have, and that's...
But that's how fucking deep ingrained it is.
Yeah,
I'm fucking done with it.
Yeah.
And I can hear and see people's faces in my head that were telling me that that's kid shit.
And?
Yeah. I didn't get to enjoy my childhood because I had to grow up too fucking fast.
Same.
So now I'm an adult and I can afford to do all this fucking shit. And guess what? I'm gonna. I have multiple lightsabers hanging up in my fucking office.
Pop
figures, posters, all kinds of shit. There's the Death Star behind my head. I know I brought that up before. I've never been happier. Because I'm enjoying the things that I enjoy.
Yeah.
Without worrying about the stupidity and judgment that's going to come from other people. Well, that's immature. Well, you're being immature by not addressing your shit and trying to get better. So I'd rather be me and happy instead of the blissful fucking ignorance that you're living in.
Yeah.
I'm done pulling punches. I'm done holding back because I did. And what did it get me?
Nothing.
You're a pussy. You're a fucking faggot. You're a bleeding heart hippie. Da 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 da. Whatever the fuck. You're never going to be successful. You're never going to be this. You're never going to do that. Okay, fine. To you, I'm not. To me, I'm succeeding more in life than I ever have.
Yeah.
Because I'm fucking happy.
I mean...
And I'm the bad guy for wanting to be happy. I'm the bad guy for wanting everybody else to be happy and live up to their full fucking potential.
How dare you?
I wish I had people in my life that would say, you need to pull your fucking head out of your ass to stop doing this shit. Because everybody was afraid of me for so fucking long. And I'm not saying that I tried to have people fear me, but that's what the case was. Nobody felt that they could stand up to me. And that was my fault because I didn't allow that to happen.
And the thing is that you did do that for me on a very serious level.
I've done that for everybody my entire life, and nobody took the time to do that for me except you. There's no other way to put it. Everybody else can act like they supported me and they helped build me up and all this fucking bullshit. No, you didn't. I don't give a fuck who you are. I don't give a fuck who you think you are. You didn't. Period. The only person that's ever done it for me in 40 fucking years is my wife. Outside of like my sister and my cousins and stuff. Because they have always been there for me. But I'm saying...
outside of the familial bonds that you grew up with.
And it's not even all my fucking family.
No, it's not.
That's the fucking sad part.
It's your cousins and your sister.
Because I was built up whenever I was doing the things that I was supposed to do. Not the things that I wanted to do.
Yeah.
Whenever I was super excited about getting into music and stuff like that, my family gave fuck one about any of that. Outside of my cousin. Because Vic was there. And Sis was there. And Rach and Katie, I understand. Like it was...
It was a bit much.
It was tepid.
It was a bit much, and they were younger.
They were younger.
They were still in like middle school, high school when you were doing that.
Yeah. And Sis was too, but she didn't give a fuck.
No, she didn't.
But, like, they didn't support me with that. And it's been like that my entire life, and I ignored that for so fucking long. And it's the same thing with friends that I've had. Mm-hmm. Like, you'll support by going to shows and shit, but why are you going to the show? Because you were going to go to a show anyway, and you're getting fucked up with people. That's why you're doing it.
Yeah.
Not for me.
That, and if you were able to get them in for free, then...
which I did a lot. Mm-hmm. Paid for drinks a lot. Mm. It was me or it was one other person.
Mm-hmm. Which we don't even talk to anymore.
Coincidentally. Mm. And I'm supposed to feel bad about turning my back on you? Really? When are you going to feel bad about taking advantage? And again, it's not just about one fucking person. It's about a myriad of fucking people.
Many people that we do not talk to anymore.
And there's a reason.
Many.
There's a reason. And everybody can think that it was their decision to fall the fuck off. And I'm fine with it. You did it. Good job. You got away from me because I was being the asshole. Because it wasn't me that stopped calling, right? It wasn't me that stopped inviting people over, right? Okay. I'm done being nice.
Yeah.
I'm not mad. I'm really not. I feel like I should be.
There's a difference between being kind and being nice. you are a kind person. You are a very kind person. Nice is no longer in my vocabulary for myself or for you, because nice gets you walked all over. Nice gets you used and misused. Fuck that. I can be a good person.
I'm going to be a good person, but that means I can't fuck with you. Because if I fuck with you, I ain't going to be a good person. I'm not going to be a good person.
Because these bitches make me want to fight people.
See, it's not even that serious for me. I get turned into a person that I don't want to fucking be, and I haven't wanted to be my entire life. But I felt like I had to, because that was how I protected myself. And I'm not doing it anymore. I am not sacrificing myself and who I feel I should be so I can have you in my life.
Yeah.
I'm not doing that.
Yeah.
I've lowered myself for too fucking long. Mentally, fucking emotionally, all of that shit.
Yeah.
I've held back, and I'm not holding back.
And my thing is that, like, yeah, I'm not actually going to fight anybody. My thing is that
I don't even like saying shit like that anymore for that reason, because I'm not going to.
I'm not going to, but the anger and the vitriol that these people...
I've dealt with the anger for so long under the surface that I don't have anger about it anymore. That's fair. Fucking... It's not even apathy, because I do still care about people, but it's an apathy for the situation. Like, if you don't care, why the fuck am I?
That's fair.
If you're not going to put the effort in, why am I? I'm not doing it.
Yeah.
I am not fucking doing it. You motherfuckers exhaust me. Literally. Energetically, however you want to put it.
Yes.
You exhaust me. I shouldn't go places and then feel more drained than whenever I come home. Mm-hmm. I'm just going to stay the fuck at home. Because I don't want to deal with that.
Yeah.
I don't want to deal with the passive-aggressive bullshit and the fucking, oh, everything's great. Da, 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 da. No, the fuck it's not. And if you think it is, you're retarded. I don't mean developmentally challenged. I mean, there is something in your brain that is not working the way that it fucking should for you to understand that shit is not okay.
Yeah. And it's funny because on the outside... The vast majority of the people that we're talking about are semi-intelligent people. It's not like they're stupid.
The vast majority of people are intelligent people.
Yes. But not emotionally.
No.
Not mentally.
And I gotta be the fucking asshole because I point that out. I'm the malcontent.
And the thing is that, anybody who is refusing to address whatever problem they have, and it could be something as simple as being emotionally unaware. It could be somebody who's hooked on black tar heroin. Like, whatever you're failing to address, you're not necessarily a bad person for not wanting...
Oh, no. So there's motherfuckers that are bad people to me, and I just fucking tolerate it.
Oh, yeah, no. There are bad people, but
and it's usually the ones that act like they're holier than fucking thou.
That's fair.
Well, no, that's okay. Okay, I see through the bullshit, and I have experienced the bullshit. You're not going to tell me what the fuck I think.
Yeah,
because you're not a good person. Right. You can be a good person. You choose to not be a good person.
Right. But it's okay. Especially on the lighter side of things. Granted, being addicted to a very severe drug ruins lives. But choosing to stay blissfully unaware that fact in and of itself doesn't inherently make you a bad person.
I think it does at this point. For me, personally, I think it does. Because that's what my dad did. Guess what? I've never met my dad.
That's fair.
Guess what? You've never met your dad. That's what your mom does.
That wasn't his fault.
Is she in your life now?
No. Okay, you're right.
Blissful ignorance. It's are people that do nothing evil. If you see wrong being done and you do nothing, are you evil? At this juncture in my life, think that that is the case. Because whenever I see shit that is not right, I call it out. I call it out with my kids. I call it out with you. I call it out with my friends.
That's fair.
And I always have done that.
Yes.
Because I am not an evil person. I am not a vindictive person.
Yeah.
Certain motherfuckers have brought that shit out of me. And guess what? I'm pretty goddamn good at it. Because there's shit that I could burn down to the fucking center of the earth if I wanted to. And
Same.
I don't, because I don't want to do that.
Yes.
I want you to pull your head out of your fucking ass. That's what I want.
Even if, and to all the people that have wronged me, I still want them to do, like, I want healing
I want
for them.
the best for everybody.
You don't have to get access back to me
Nope.
if you decide to start changing, because there are certain things that, no, I'm not going to deal with.
But that's not ruling out that either.
For some
if
people,
there is
maybe.
some real fucking change and if there is real recompense, then yes.
That's fair.
I'm not
That's fair.
I'm not the person to say that no, you never have a part in my life ever again.
That's
because
fair.
I don't know that.
That's fair. Never say never.
Because I would want that opportunity.
That's fair.
There's still certain apologies that I would like to make that I'm probably never going to have the opportunity to do. But if they come about, I am going to try to make that right. But if not, I have to accept that.
Yeah.
And it goes the same for me. Like you're not getting access to me unless there is real change.
Right.
Real effort, real love. Because what I've seen so far is not real love. It's not. It's conditional.
Yeah.
I don't love with conditions. I mean, I guess you could say I do because I have expectations. But that's not expectations for me. That's just knowing what I'm fucking worth. That's not the same thing.
Yeah. It's just because you don't. Okay, I don't speak to my mother. Doesn't mean I don't care about her or that I don't want good things for her. I want her to get better. I want her to feel and heal, and because she went through shit too.
We all did.
The saying hurt people hurt people.
What the fuck are you doing with it?
Exactly.
Are you using it as an excuse or are you using it as motivation? Because I try to use mine as motivation.
Yeah. And the thing is that I still love her, but I can't fuck with you. And just because my love is unconditional,
My presence is not.
the access you have to me is not. Because I can love you from afar. I can hope and root for you from afar. That's not what it is. And I really don't think you can. Yeah, I don't think your love is not.
I don't care. I don't care
Yeah.
if people think it is. Like,
Sorry,
whatever.
I was like really trying to analyze that because it's like, no, that's not.
But that's how
conditional.
it's looked at. That's how it's looked at. That, well, you're saying it's unconditional, but it's conditional because you can't accept da 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 da. I don't have to.
No.
I don't have to accept being treated less than what I feel I should be treated
I
as.
do not require a lot. I am not high maintenance.
Neither am I.
No. I'm not really one for expensive gifts. You don't have to do a lot of grand gestures. I'm not. I don't require a lot, and neither do you. And people who don't require a lot, just because we don't require a lot, doesn't mean we deserve breadcrumbs. We don't
fucking breadcrumbs.
And that's what I'm saying.
Like.
So,
And it sounds like I'm bitter right now. It really does. And I understand that because I'm cognitively aware of myself. I understand how it sounds, but I don't have bitterness or anger in my heart anymore.
it
And
really
that,
just
I
is
think,
what it is.
honestly, that bothers some people.
Yes.
Because they can see that I am measured and I am calm. And I'm still saying all of this shit. Because I fucking mean it. Because I see it. I don't bring things up. I don't say things just for the fuck of it. I'm not trying to get a rise out of anybody anymore.
Yeah, no.
That's the last thing I want.
Yeah.
I want true, real conversation and connection. That's it.
And it's
And
not
I don't
hard.
think that's ridiculous to fucking ask. In this day and age, whenever we're all disconnected from each other, like, why is that so difficult? Why is wanting the best or better or whatever, why is that wrong? Because everybody's just accepted the fact that this is what we're supposed to do. This is how we're supposed to act. I don't want to act like that. I don't want to be like that.
Same.
Alcohol tastes like shit to me. I've been an alcoholic since I was 13, 14, freshman year, whatever the fuck that was.
Yeah.
And I don't want to live like that.
I started drinking at, not regularly, but I started drinking at 13.
What was that? 9? Yeah. So I was probably 14 or 15 because it was freshman year, and that would have been 98, 99. So, yeah. And I've been smoking since before that. I was in elementary school whenever I started fucking smoking.
Wow.
Like, I know that for a fact.
Like 5th grade?
Yeah. It might have been a handful of times before that, but 5th grade is when I started stealing cigarettes and fucking smoking on a regular basis.
That's wild.
And I don't want to do that anymore.
No,
I've been addicted to women since freshman fucking year. I'm sick of bitches now. There's no other way to describe it. I'm sick of bitches. I'm sick of women. I'm sick of all the dumb shit that comes with them. I'm sick of pretending to care about your fucking problems. Like, no, I don't care. I don't care. And I know how fucked up that sounds, but that was an addiction of mine too. And it did nothing but make me feel worse as a human being. All three of those things made me do nothing but feel worse as a human being. Because I wasn't addressing the real fucking issue. And everybody can feel about that how the fuck they want to feel about it. This is the first meaningful relationship I've had.
Yeah.
And everybody can feel how they want to feel about that too. I don't give a shit.
Same.
Like, I've had good conversations with people. I'm not going to lie. I'm not going to be in a long-term relationship with somebody if I can't have occasional good conversation.
Okay,
because you know me. I have to be stimulated mentally.
Right. Both of us have been married previously. So we both understand that not every, like, just because we got divorced doesn't mean that every single moment with exes was a shit show. We understand that there were good times and then that we
Well, in my case, those were very few and far between. Because that was a choice that was made.
Yeah.
Because it was a daily struggle. And I've never said that out loud before. It was a daily goddamn struggle to be around my ex.
Yeah. And after
and
a
I
while...
tried to pretend like that wasn't the fucking case. Mm-hmm. But it's been like that for every single one of them. It was a daily struggle. It was me convincing myself to stay on a regular fucking basis. And I noticed our relationship was different because I don't do that. I don't have to convince myself to love you in the morning. I don't have to convince myself to stay. And people can feel about that how they want to feel about it.
Yeah, and towards the end of my...
And I'm not saying that I was a fucking saint by any stretch of the imagination, because before you, I was fucking feral.
You were.
You know.
You were.
You know. You were there. You saw it. I was a fucking animal. And I understand people having that exact same mentality about me. Because it was well fucking deserved. I earned that shit. I get it. But I'm not going to pretend that... It goes back to what we were talking about earlier. Nothing was fucking hunky-dory. But I pretended like it was. And I did that the majority of my life. Just, no, everything's fine. It's not that bad. Let's make excuses for this.
Yeah.
And why?
Yeah.
And I don't make excuses for myself now. I'm damn sure not going to make excuses for anybody else.
Yeah, and in my... And again, in my first marriage, I wasn't perfect. But there were things where it's just like...
Irreconcilable differences.
All right, I need
XYZ.
XYZ. You are unwilling to be XYZ. And that's
not saying anything about him, because I actually like him.
he's a good, decent person.
Yeah, he always has been.
But at some point,
you have to acknowledge the fact that this is not conducive to where I want to go
Yes.
in life, or who I want to be with, or who I just want to be in life.
yeah.
And it's a tough thing to do, especially whenever they're not a bad person, because then you feel like even worse because of it.
Yeah. But at the same time, that goes back to what I was trying to say earlier. It's like we all have to get to know ourselves.
And our generation, by and large, is the one that doesn't fucking know that.
Us and older.
No, they don't care. The older generations don't give a shit. Because they were told what they were supposed to be, and they fucking went with it full bore. And you cannot argue with them and tell them anything different. They willfully choose that ignorance.
Yes,
and that's
you
why
can't teach an old dog new tricks.
And they all fucking live and die by that shit.
Yes.
And it's just like, no, that's not true.
Not how that works.
We got 2 fucking shelter dogs. We taught them our routine, and they follow that routine now.
They do. They're more on a routine.
They get pissed off at us whenever we break the goddamn routine.
They're like, excuse
You can
me.
learn as long as you were willing to fucking learn.
Yes. And even if that includes like a mental diagnosis that, like if you're on the spectrum, somewhere on the autism spectrum, or if there's ADHD.
But see, people don't want to acknowledge that part of it either.
Well,
everybody's got something. That's stupid.
Well, if you're one of the ones who has...
Why does everybody have something? Because everybody's fucking got something. That's why. And guess what? Me starting to read one book, I didn't even get halfway through the motherfucker, and it already told me more about myself than anything else I've ever read in my entire life.
And it may
Whether or not I am even that, I know, I'm not the only one.
And since...
There's triggers. There's things that have happened in the course of my life to end up creating this mentality. And I can fight against it now because I know the name of the fucking demon.
Or at least...
combat it somehow. Yes. Like, I have tools now that I can point to and be like, okay, whenever I'm splitting and going this way and seeing everything black and white, I know what to do in those moments. I know to ground myself. And to take inventory and be like, no, you're thinking like that because you're flipping the fuck out. You need to bring yourself back to center.
Yeah.
Might still be upset about whatever it is.
Right.
But it's not going to be fucking World War III like it was.
No. And since and the thing is like you were saying, that might not even be the actual diagnoses. But
I think it is.
There's so much crossover.
But see, the thing is, even if I was to go get diagnosed now, it's not going to matter because it's not a detriment to my life on a regular basis.
Right.
It's not impeding my quality of life.
Right.
And I've had that conversation with my therapist.
Right.
And she was like, if it was, then they probably would diagnose you. But I don't think they would actually diagnose you with that now because it's not doing that. Because you understand all of these things and you've figured out a way to cope even if that's the case.
Right. And
because every single thing on that fucking checklist was just like check, 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 check. Like, oh, fuck.
Yeah. But even if it's something that you think you may have or something that is making it difficult for you to understand your own brain, start
look
fucking
into it.
figuring
Talk to
it
somebody
out.
about it. Like, I hate saying this, but social media has actually helped me in that fashion because I've seen it all started with listening to a podcast.
Which one?
To Be Better.
Oh.
And Chris was talking about his shit.
Yes.
And it just like, you remember, because you were sitting right there whenever I was watching. I was like, hold the fuck up.
Yep.
Is that how you see it whenever I react those ways? She's like, yeah.
Oh.
And then I started paying attention more.
Mm-hmm.
And the more things he said, it's just like, oh.
Okay.
So I bought a fucking book about it.
Yeah.
I think they were the ones that fucking talked about that exact book, as a matter of fact.
I think so.
And it was eye-opening, to say the fucking least.
But that, and I think that should be the
and
takeaway.
just that curiosity that we've talked about. That's what it is. I was curious because something triggered something in my head and just like started connecting dots.
Yeah.
Okay, well, let's learn about this. Let's read about this. And that's what I've been doing. And I understand myself better over something I may or may not have now.
Yeah. And that goes for
what the
anyone.
fuck's wrong with that?
Yeah, it's really not. There's nothing wrong with it. And I think that should be the final takeaway from this episode is that you have to, yes, there's going to be, because both of us have been guilty of behaving in a certain way and not realizing it's detrimental to yourself or to a relationship. And then you're told, hey, I need this, or hey, can you not do this, or whatever the case is. Once you are confronted with, hey, this is an issue.
It becomes a choice.
It definitely becomes a choice. And you have to choose.
And how many times are you going to be confronted with something?
Right. You have to.
Because you consistently confronted me about shit. And
it's not going to click until it clicks.
I knew there was an issue.
Yeah.
I've always known there was an issue. I didn't know what it was. And I told you that. Like, I have no idea what the fuck is wrong with me.
I don't know how to fix it. I don't know where to go. I don't know where to start.
You started therapy. I started therapy shortly thereafter.
Yeah.
And then all the fucking dominoes just started falling, one right after the other. And it was a motherfucker to get through all of that.
Yeah.
And I'm still going through it.
Yeah.
But I'm not going to stop going through it at this point. I don't want to unring the bell. I don't want to be blissfully ignorant again. I want to be the best version of myself for you, for the kids, but most importantly, for me. Mm-hmm. Because I deserve that peace and contentment in my own fucking brain.
Same. And everyone deserves that, but you have to be willing to put in the work. And again, the takeaway from this is do the work. Figure yourself out. Start with, why do I like the breakfast cereal I like? Or why do I like...
Well, let's go a little deeper than fucking that.
Hey, if people don't know...
But see, that's a very surface level thing, and God bless everybody else. They're not like us and have that trigger a cascade of fucking things. You know what I mean? Because they can just have that thought and be like, oh, okay, yeah, I like it because I liked it as a kid. And then that's it. That's literally it.
See, me,
but then it would turn into, like, for me, well, why do you like Cocoa Puffs? Well, I didn't get a lot of sweet cereal whenever I was a kid. The only time I did is whenever I went over to Maria and Tom's, and they had Cocoa Puffs occasionally. That's how I started on Pop-Tarts, too. And I felt safe there because I didn't feel safe other places.
Why didn't I feel safe other places?
And then that starts...
Yep.
I'm like, fuck. Great.
Yeah. So, at the end of the day, you are the only one in your head. And you have to figure out, and it has to be you. It has to be you because it's your head, it's your brain, it's your thoughts, it's your shit. Your point of view. It is your perspective. It is your experience with this timeline, with this universe, with you. And you have to be the one to do the work. Yeah, someone can present something to you like, hey, could you not blah, 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 blah. Or, hey, I would like this to be work. Whatever it is. You have to do the work. Someone cannot feed you the work. They can say, do X, Y, Z, but they can't do X, Y, Z for you. You have to know yourself. You have to get to know yourself. You have to understand why you function in this world the way you function. And you are the only motherfucker that can do it. 0 other people can do it for you.
And 0 other people care, ultimately. Because everybody else can fucking leave. You're the one stuck with you. No matter what.
Yeah.
Like if you woke up tomorrow and decided, no, I don't want to do this anymore. You're still stuck with you.
Yep.
So, what the fuck?
Yeah. So, please, get to know you. You are worth getting to know. And it will ultimately benefit your life. Even if you're single, even if it's just you, it'll benefit your life. If you are in a relationship or a partnership or whatever, if you're a parent, whatever, getting to know yourself ultimately will be the best thing that you can do.
Don't wait until you're almost fucking 40 like me.
Yes, and we've tried to instill that in our kids, and I hope that
they have a giant leg up on us,
yes.
And I am so fucking happy about that.
But get to know yourself. And if you don't know how, start asking questions. No, you don't have to see a therapist if you don't want to. But there's group therapies.
I disagree with that. I think everybody should fucking see a therapist. But
I agree, but
everybody has trauma.
And I get it. But again, even if it starts with talking to a friend or somebody that you feel comfortable talking with, start somewhere, even if it's scary, because I have lived my whole life in fear, and I will continue to do so. And I mean that I will continue to do things even if I am terrified to do them. So, again, I know I say this all the time at the end of our episodes. Reach out for resources. If you need someone to talk to, even if you don't know me from a hole in the ground, like, reach out. There's people who will listen. There's resources. There's direction. And be prepared for the hard work, because it is not easy work.
And it's going to hurt.
And it's going to hurt. It's going to bring up a lot of shit.
You will realize a lot of shit you didn't even realize was fucking there.
Yes. And it's okay to be scared. And it's
okay to be overwhelmed in those moments and wanting to quit. But the problem is
you can't quit.
You can't. You just can't.
It's so worth doing the work, and it's so worth getting to know yourself, and it's so worth
getting your confidence back and having that
so
swagger and just not giving a fuck about other people's opinions.
And no matter
unless they're valid.
Yes.
If they're presenting you with something, like, obviously.
No matter what you've done, no matter what you've been through, you deserve to know yourself.
If you want to get better, you can get better.
Yes. So
but you have to want it.
You have to want it. You have to want it. So get to know yourself, because you're the only one inside your head. So, again, if you have questions, comments, concerns, reach out. If you want resources, reach out. If you anything, just reach out. Ow, I hit my elbow, but reach out, please. Reach. Ow, that fucking hurt my elbow, but be good to yourself. Know who you are, and come back and listen to more of our bullshit later. Thank you for listening to this week's episode. If you like this episode, or know someone who would, please help us grow the show by liking, subscribing, and sharing. Keep up with all episodes on Buzzsprout or anywhere else you get your podcasts.